server, a local host saying that this particular person likes that particular movie, right? But nobody on the other side is listening to that. So let's look at our Java server. Here's our Java server, and we'll create a controller that we'll call the likes controller. Right, so we'll say Java class, and this is the likes controller. So in the likes controller, we can keep track, but we can go either to the database, or in this case, we can just keep track of an array. Right? In this array, we're going to say might be let's see, maybe we can keep track of the movies that I like. How's that? Right? So this will be string array movies I like or liked. And initially is an actually no, let's make it a list. So a list of strings, and this is a new array list of strings, which is initially empty. And we'd like to be able to have a function that says public get movies liked. Oh, that's convenient. Also, I can say public null or void, and this will be like a movie, and I'm going to send the string of the movie that I like. So this will be string the IMDb ID of the movie that I just liked. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to append it to the movies liked. Dot add IMDb ID. Okay, all right. Now let's map these to the URLs. The URLs that we're trying to post is this right here, right? API likes and then the IMDb ID. So let's do that. So this is a post, and I'm mapping it to API / what likes, right? And then the IMDb ID map right there, right, as a placeholder. We're going to parse that placeholder with path variable. Oops. And we're going to map it to the parameter IMDb ID so that I can push it into that array. Make sense? All right, let's see if this works. Let's restart the server. Oh, we need to make this available as a REST controller. We forgot to do that, right? So let's do that. So we'll make this a REST controller. Nope. REST controller. There we go. And probably going to have to open up the course, right? The cross origin. So cross origin, we're going to be optimistic, and we're going to accept anyone to contact us. Star, right? So let's restart the server. All right. So if we did that, let's refresh this. Let's like this particular movie. We'll send a like. And we're still doing a console uncut syntax error, blah, blah, blah. All right, because we are returning a void, and it's trying to parse a JSON object that's coming back as void. Right, so probably we should maybe, instead of just returning void, maybe we should return just echo back. We'll just echo back the string that you sent us, and a string, right? And while we're here, might as well implement this get movies liked, just to verify that we were able to add that to the array. So let's retrieve all the likes, get mapping, and retrieve all the likes, right, as a list of strings. Right, so let's restart. Okay, let's try it out. Let's like it again. Console, clear that. Like. And I'll cut, console, network. Here's our like. Came back as a string. A string is not an object. That could be JSON parsed, maybe. It's a primitive data type. So our client, maybe we don't need this response JSON. Let's not do that. Yeah, but it's, I don't know. The body seems to be empty, I guess. Console. Let's do like. Well, I didn't print it, but we can see if it made it to the server, and it's what was it? Localhost 8080 / what was it? API likes. Okay, I've liked this movie more than once, right? So ideally, I would make sure that it's only represented once. There's no duplicates and things like that, right? So, but it's being stored nevertheless. On the client, I might want to toggle this like, right, based on the state, whether I liked it or not. Right? So for instance, here, I might have two buttons, right? And I will display one or the other depending on whether I liked it before or not. Right? So for instance, so this would be unlike, yes? And I will display the like button only if I have not previously liked this movie. And so we'll say if this dot state dot not liked, right? Then I will display like, and vice versa, right? I'll toggle these two. I'll only display this if it has not previously liked this. So not liked. Then I'll display that, unlike. So presumably there would be a function called unlikes, right? Which doesn't exist yet. Let's put the placeholder there. Unlike. Okay. All right. So notice that presumably I have stored on the server that I have liked this movie. When I navigate to this page, I would like to show the state of this button correctly, right? And presumably I have that information in the server, right? I could go back to the server and say, hey, is this movie liked by me? Okay. So I can do that, right? I can go back to the server and ask. I can do a get mapping and ask, hey, here's a movie ID, IMDb ID, right? Search in your list and say, is movie liked? Okay, and I'll pass you the path of the IMDb right here. I'll pass it to you, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to search that IMDb in my array. If it's in my array, I'll come back with true. Otherwise, I'll come back with false. Right, so I'll say for string s in, what was it? Liked movies. No, what was it? Movies liked. Movies liked. So if s is equal, right, the IMDb ID, then I'll return true. If this is equal, then I'll return true. Otherwise, I'll return false. Sorry? Oh, sorry. And so this returns, wait, what? So equals doesn't work? Equal should work, no?
I think that's fine.
What's it complaining about? Oh, the data type. This Boolean. All right, so on the other side, I'm going to expect either true or false. And so, and I can ask this. So when would I ask this? It would be right when I navigate to the page, right? So my page is going to do two server calls, right? One to IMDb for the most of our content, right? The image, the plot, the director, all that. But it also is going to hit my server that I own, right? And it's going to merge those two informations together. Right? Other things that my server could host is things such as who likes this, right? And I could list all the people who like this movie, right? Maybe their IDs, their user IDs, and maybe I can navigate to their profile pages. maybe a whole bunch of other reviews, right? Other people have written about that particular movie. So not only likes, but bookmarks, reviews, anything that I can store in my own database, right? That can maybe I render, the top half of the page is from my remote server, and maybe the bottom half of my page is from my server, right? Information that I have stored in my community that is using my application. Yes.
So I was under the impression, and it's clearly wrong apparently, that we had to store the exact data that we got from the server in our local thing.
No, you can store anything that is convenient to you. Yeah. You don't have to do a verbatim copy. Really.
Do we have to store anything from the remote server except for
well, the only thing that I guess the only thing that you would need to store ever is just the IMDb in this case.
the ID?
But then it would be very inconvenient when say I go to my profile and I would just display a list of all the movies that I like. If I only have the IMDb,
You have to go get it.
then I would have to go iterate and find the titles of all these movies, so it's very inconvenient. So instead, I can store it in my database and say, well, it's me. You have my user ID. I can do a query and find all the array of movies that I like. I can return that as a single array, right? That includes not only IMDb, but it might include also the title and maybe a thumbnail. And maybe that's enough, right? But you might decide to also include the rating, maybe Rotten Tomatoes or something, whatever, okay? So yeah, no, only the things that you might need that makes it convenient for you to continue. Yes?